Hello my friends, this is Joshua Wenning and welcome to part 191 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Let's Play series. So I'm doing post commentary because I think it makes it easier to cut things. Right now I'm doing the news, so while I go through the news, I'm going to say my little bit of the intro. So please like, share, and subscribe, and consider ringing that notification bell. You can only do the notification bell if you subscribe, so it's a little bit of a perk. And here I'm just showing off the different Baguska accessories that are now available in this shop. By the time you watch this, they have been available for a little while. I'm not sure if this is one of the accessories that will eventually leave or not, so you might want to check that out, make sure they're not already gone. Hopefully they're not already gone, but I don't think it's been too long, so I don't think I really have to worry too much about that. But yeah, I'm going through the news. I'm also going to be going through the Nibiru festival. I'm focused on that. I'm going to focus on one thing at a time, so whether it be like a solo mode gate, maybe with these post commentaries, I could even go through whole solo mode gates at a time. But yeah, I think I'm going to go on a little bit of a hiatus. Right there, I think I was doing a little bit of Duel live to start up my missions. But yeah, I think I'm just going to go on a little bit of a hiatus until I can get my Eldritch decks together. And maybe a few X-Saber decks for when I eventually need to go into my deck for that. But I figured I might as well put this video out so I could let you know about the hiatus. So if anyone's wondering about why there hasn't been a video for a little bit, that's why. And now I'm going into the Nibiru festival. There were quite a few ways you could have played this. It's after the fact, so this is more for entertainment or not. But there are a lot of ways you could have played this. Like, you could have played a deck that sets up a negate or something like a gigantic sprite before the fifth summon to keep your opponent off of Nibiru, even though you did 5 or more summons. And even if they try to Nibiru you, maybe you just negate it. And there are and then there are decks that have a line that does get stopped by Nibiru and a line that doesn't. So of course, going down the line that doesn't get stopped by Nibiru is probably better. Although there are also decks that can play through a Nibiru, doesn't necessarily set up a negate, but can play through a Nibiru despite getting hit by one. So maybe also those decks, or decks that can that do most of their plays on their opponent's turn. Even if maybe they summon a lot of times on opponent's turn, opponent might also contend with the fact that they have monsters on their field, so they might get hurt a little bit too. But yeah, so quite a few ways you could play that. Oh yeah, and I did the secret password search, and the reason I got the blue one is because I already had the Frost in hand. And so in case they wouldn't negate the blue, I would still been able to get the Frost out of my hand via the special summon. Otherwise, I wouldn't have really been able to make any plays. But I decided not to call by the Dimension Shifter, which maybe I should have because I ended up not needing anyway. But I figured there might be a case where call by would be better. So I decided I can technically play through Shifter, so I'm going to try doing that and not call by. And you'll see that it does end up working out in the end. So, but I don't want to make too much spoilers besides that, but thought I would let you know. But yeah, I'm doing a lot of my sprite plays, as you probably saw time and time before. And I did think about maybe getting a super heavy samurai deck together, since I did have the engine from when I played it with Ally of Justice. I do have most of the cards. There are a few key cards, I guess you could say, that I'm missing, like the Crimson Dragon and stuff like that. But technically, I think I can play without those stuff, put in a little bit of a different X deck. May make it a little bit weaker, but maybe still be stronger than the sprites here. But I was just thinking maybe off camera I could do a little bit of that. and then on camera I could still do the sprites, since this is always gonna be my favorite deck, the sprites here. And of course, like, I've gotten pretty good with it, but I mean, maybe like trying out the Super Every Samurai deck wouldn't be such a bad thing. Oh yeah, and I think I finally figured out why people aren't really playing Sekka's Light with Super Every Samurai. It's because I didn't realize it can also stop pendulums, but the way it's worded, it seems to be able to, so I think that's why. But yeah, I'm going for my plays. I really like getting the carrot for the spell of Trap negate. I mean, you could go for red, but I feel like there's so many other ways you can deal with monsters that it's probably better to go with carrot. Like, there's a lot less, like, things. Otherwise, there would be a lot less things I can do against, like, a Raigeki or Dark Hole or Lightning Storm, stuff like that. I'd rather have that insurance and then just deal with monsters in other ways. I mean, even in battle, like, I can deal with monsters. Like, I can just go for the pixies and have them gain enough attack to be able to beat over. It's kind of like giving my whole field a one-time that one equip spell that, like, makes sure that the attack is always going to be 100 points higher. Except it's a little bit better because it's not just going to be 100 points higher. It's going to give my monsters the attack of the opponent's monsters, and so the bigger my opponent's monsters, the more damage they take. It's kind of like that Moon Mirror Shield combined with that one card that. Oh, with the one card that, like, reflects the attack back at them and hits them equal to the attack. I forget. Magic Cylinder. Kind of like Moon Mirror Shield plus Magic Cylinder in a way. If you want to think about it that way. Of course, I'm not really negating their parts because I feel like they're trying to trick me, wanting me to negate that. I still feel like it's most of the time better to negate the actual plays, especially when you don't have a ton of negates. I mean, maybe if you have a whole bunch of negates anyway, like some decks can set up a whole bunch of negates, like maybe pretty much infinite negates, kind of like that Drytron deck back in the day, then maybe it doesn't matter too much. But, like, usually you don't want to negate the parts. Like, even though it seems tempting because they are getting, I mean, I guess not really card advantage off of the Pot of Prosperity and Duality, but, like, getting to search their deck, like, see, like, the Raigeki might have been the meta negate, but as you'll see, it doesn't really matter, so maybe I should negate the pot, but you know what, like, just in case they didn't have this other card in hand, negating that Raigeki would have been pretty good, but as you can see, they are able to, do something else to get rid of my field. Although I wonder if, like, this is what they should have done first anyway, and then they could have Raigeki me afterward. Like, they could have also, like, picked off the guy that can, like, bring back a whole bunch of banish cards, and then that way they would have also gotten rid of the Winged Dragon of Ra, which would have put me in a little bit of a worse position, because I draw into just, like, one, like, emergency teleport here. If I didn't have the ball, I wouldn't even really been able to make any plays because I would have summoned something off the emergency teleport, but I didn't have another monster. But because they allowed me to keep the sphere mode, I was able to make Link play. So this would have been really bad for me if they would have done the sphere mode first and then the Raigeki, and then I wouldn't have had my negate up anymore. And it would have also gotten rid of the sphere mode as well. If that makes sense. Hopefully I cleared up enough. I think since I'm getting into this now, I made, as you see, I was able to end it this turn, so it's not quite done yet. Oh yeah, and of course, if anyone wants to let me know what they used to clear the Nibiru and what they thought about this festival, you can let me know. This is mostly just to act as like an update and also to kind of show off that I think I'm gonna be starting to use the post commentary. So I'm not sure if I want to do streams. Like, this may be better for me. Like, and then I could see like how other people feel about it. But I think for now, like, post commentary seems pretty good, and that gives me more freedom for cutting. Anyway, I'm gonna give the verse. This is probably not gonna be the same verse. Oh yeah, and also I just want to say, like, the reason I'm doing the post commentary here is the actual live commentary was kicked off, but I think this is better anyway because it kind of gets me into a better way of going about my videos, I think, because it was always kind of difficult to cut when like I also had my voice to contend with, like, but this way, like, my recording is only gonna be as long as the video, so I can make sure my videos are not as long, and then just go off of that, like, and it's a lot easier to commentate, I think, and make better plays when I'm not commenting while I'm going out the video. I know some people can do it, but it's actually kind of difficult. It's not like super easy, and that can pretty much go for any game, especially a game like this where you also have the timer to contend with, especially when you're playing maybe a more like difficult deck too. It wouldn't be super hard when you're doing solo mode, but I do notice that also I think causes me to go slower. So I think I would be able to also speed things up anyway, maybe, and then maybe like get through like more of the solo mode gate per video. Anyway, I'm gonna go over the verse now. I know it seems a little early, but I might as well get it done before the duel ends. I think you pretty much get what's going on. So anyway, the verse is 1 Chronicles 29:11. I'm going to go New International Version, and then how your version puts it. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor. For everything in heaven and earth is yours. Yours, Lord, is a kingdom. You are exalted as head over all. And how your version would put it. Yours, Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the majesty and the splendor. For everything in heaven and earth is yours. Yours, Lord, is the kingdom. You are exalted as head over all. Oh yeah. So basically what this says is that like Jesus like created, like, is the creator of all of us. So basically we treat him with respect because he's like exalted above us all. So pretty easy verse, I think, to understand. And it's also because that he knows what's best for us. Here, so that's pretty much a verse. And then of course we can have a long discussion if you'd like, either through Facebook or the comments. Here I'm glad my opponent and I wanted to also get rid of the card anyway because like I didn't want to have them have a monster on field. And here I'm actually glad they did the England, like chain blocking the England instead, because I'd rather have the one on the field getting negated anyway. And at this point, it doesn't matter that they chain block the one on field because I have an infinite impermanence. See, if I would have done that in the opposite way, I wouldn't have been able to also negate this one on field so that they couldn't bring out any of their tribute monsters. Because once Floowandereeze gets going, like, they can set up some pretty nasty boards. So this was really helpful here. Also, like, sphere mode. Sphere mode, I wonder if anyone else thinks it's kind of weird for Floowandereeze player to play sphere mode. I think it's kind of weird because it does make it so that you can't normal summon for the turn. And Floowandereeze kind of likes normal summoning, in my opinion. So it does kind of feel a little weird. Of course, like, this is probably not one of the most ranked person because I'm not like the highest ranking myself. But like that might be like something maybe to think about, like if you're playing a deck, like make sure that like the cards you play like don't hinder you super heavily too. So maybe that's like just a good lesson anyway. So I could have made some extra plays here, but I decided I'm not gonna make a lot of plays. I'd rather just try to beat them as fast as possible. Like, I could have been punished for that, but I wasn't, so it's all good. Even if I was, it's just another duel, and it's not like you get any punishment for losing, except maybe having to play again. But yeah, I got all the missions I need to complete. Oh yeah, and one thing that I do coming up is, like, with one of the cards I open, I show you that you can disenchant it here, even though you also got it from like a free pack from the Nibiru Festival, and the ones you get from the login rewards, you can also disenchant any of them. So that's, I don't think, usually the case when they just gift you free packs, but I guess since it's a selection pack, they figure, we'll just let you. I mean, that's pretty cool, considering that, like, a lot of the other times, like, I mean, if it's free or if you don't have to spend gems to get it, like, usually you can't disenchant them, like, except for maybe the fact with the structure decks, they won't let you disenchant structure deck cards either. But yeah, like, I know there are times where they, like, give you a free... I wonder if that's the case with, like, any of the free secret packs. Like, not the ones that you get from, like, crafting a super rare, but, like, the ones that, like, they have whenever they introduce a new secret pack. I wonder if you can disenchant those cards. Now, I'm not exactly sure, but now that I'm getting into pack opening, I'm going to go over the Goosebump. So, I looked into Monster Blood and Monster Blood 2. Basically, Monster Blood 2 has a different title depending on if you watch the film adaptation or book, because they go off of a different storyline. So the movie, or like the short, I guess short film you could call it. Short film is called Monster Blood Returns, and the book is called Monster Blood 2, so it's a little bit easier with the book. The book doesn't really have, like, such a clear, like, ending going into the beginning of the next book, but that might have been because Alstein wasn't sure if he wanted a second Monster Blood, which is fine. Like, it just starts in Atlanta. Like, I mean, he was talking about Atlanta anyway, so that's pretty fitting anyway. And you can't even call Monster Blood Returns Monster Blood 1.5 because it's on the plane and it's showing the Monster Blood again, which, like, from the book, they didn't know about Monster Blood, like, reappearing until Andy brought the can, and she discovered somehow the Monster Blood showed up again in the can. So, but I kind of like the storyline. Monster Blood Returns a little bit better because, like, it was kind of no one's fault, but, like, in the book it was kind of just, like, the kids' fault because they were, like, trying to, like, seek a little bit of revenge on the hamster, like, and the teacher, which I mean, technically, like, I guess you could say they were justified, but, like, that's kind of going a little too far because, like, everybody they should know how dangerous Monster Blood is, and eventually, like, the boy main character at least, like, decided, this is pretty dangerous, let's not do it, but Annie did it anyway. But I did like that, like, he actually grew himself, and I kind of like the joke where, like, it expired. And, judging by the big ant at the end of the film adaptation, it makes me think that maybe Monster Blood 3 will be a little bit different as well. But I'm not exactly sure. I kind of forget, and I haven't reached that far yet. It's going a little bit more in. Yeah, but I kind of liked the different personalities of Conan from the book and the film adaptation, which was pretty much the only similarity between the two. Yeah, so anyway, but yeah, it was basically no one's fault there. Like, the Monster Blood, like, just accidentally gone to the plane. I guess he had a little bit left over and he didn't realize. It was kind of seeping out of the suitcase, and, like, it was just swallowing everything. So a little bit of a different conflict as well. Not really seeing a lot of growing this time, but, like, in the third one we'll probably get into that once again. So pretty cool. I guess it's also kind of cool that you see like there's more than one reason why Monster Blood is kind of bad. Oh yeah, we did see a little bit of like the swallowing from the last one, so they kind of like focus more on that like fact that it can like swallow up people inside of it. That so instead of like people and animals eating it, it's kind of doing the opposite, and like the film adaptation like focus more on that. So that was kind of cool. Like looking into different aspects of the Monster Blood. Yeah. So and then they like the hamster and him grew back to normal size in the book because it expired, because it reached the expiration date. So that was pretty funny. But I think there was a setup for the third one, or maybe I'm not sure if there was exactly a setup, but like there's definitely a third Monster Blood. Like I mean, there's definitely a third Monster Blood. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be, and there should be a third film adaptation Monster Blood as well. So that will be pretty cool. But of course, we're not getting into that right away. Next week we'll be talking about the Goosebumps Deep Trouble, which is also a pretty cool story. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's my favorite story, but it's a pretty cool one. It's like definitely leaning a lot more heavily on fantasy. The Deep Trouble, like, and it's kind of like you wouldn't really expect it. Like even from looking at, like, you kind of think it's taking a different direction just looking at the cover page alone. Which I don't really read the back. I try not to. So I thought like it would deal more with like sharks, but like that was like just a little part of it. Has so much more than that. So that's pretty cool. Kind of like took me for a loop, but in a pretty fun way. But yeah, I'm going to the end here. And I would say I do show off a few of my favorite cards, which are the Exiled Force. I like that from like from in the past when they used to like play a lot, maybe in Go format, some of the older formats, for like an easy way to get rid of the stronger monsters. And then, but nowadays we have like much better options. But yeah, anyway, I also show the quantities. Oh yeah, and if remember to like, share, and subscribe, and if you would like to support me indirectly, you can use those affiliate links.